Fanzone, united by the game, powered by Moore's World of Sport.
Welcome back to Fanzone, your hottest and latest destination for all Zimbabwean sports. We're bringing you passion, drama, and non-stop action, all happening here in the Fanzone studio. My name is Sips.
And I'm Steve Vickers. 9 games to go in the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League. Is it now a 2-horse race between Zimbabwe and Scotland? Our thoughts coming up. The Dynamos revival continues. There are now as many as 11 teams in the relegation picture. Highlanders and Caps United slipping into unwelcome territory for them and for their fans. Well, to dig into all of this, we're joined again by Larry Mangenje, sports journalist. Welcome back, Larry.
Thank you very much, Steve. I'm happy to be back on the show.
Yeah, I can't remember a relegation battle as wide as this in many years.
Interesting one, eh? It will likely go down straight to the wire.
Going to look at a bit of the mathematics there. Can Dynamos really escape? How many games would they need to win to do so? Also, we're talking bodybuilding and fitness. Quite Shangai is with us, the Secretary General of the National Federation of Bodybuilding and Fitness. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's good to have you with us. It's a busy time for you, yes?
Yeah, it's a busy time. We are looking at about 7 competitions before year end.
Including Victoria Falls.
Yes, we are having the nationals in Victoria Falls.
Wow, lots to get into, Sips.
Well, with the packed show and so much to get into, let's dig into the matchday roundup and what happened in the matchday 25 fixtures over the weekend. Matchday 25, the weekend that continued to give action and drama. Caps United continue their stale form as they lose out 2-1 over Yara at their home ground. And even Moors versus Zimbabwe. Moors losing yet another game at their home stadium at the Mangenje Fortress. Steve, it was quite the result. Last-minute goal from Tapuya Mangenje.
Yeah, and we know that Moors were getting themselves last-minute winners themselves. Just looks as though things are not going their way. 2 draws and 4 defeats, Larry, in the last 6 games. The wheels really falling off for Moors.
For sure. Like you rightly said, the wheels are really coming off for the Premiership debutants. A strange scenario considering how brilliant they were in the first half of the season. You know, when a team goes for 15 games without tasting defeat and then goes for 6 games without even winning a single one of them. Interesting times. I actually struggle to understand what could possibly be the problem, but surely tough times in Norton.
And this is a stronger squad now after the January transfers. Abubakar Moffat, he continues to impress.
Indeed, he has been by far their best signing of the mid-season transfer window. He has stabilized the midfield. He was brilliant again against Zimbabwe. Unfortunate to be on the losing side, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So is he not being backed up by maybe the forwards, or what's going on? He's having good games, but it's not being converted into wins.
I think the biggest letdown from a Moors perspective has been the chances being created but not being converted. Like in the game against Simba, you could actually tell they missed a glut of chances in the first half, and that has been their problem, and it will still haunt them up until the season ends.
Well, trouble in the Moors FC camp. And over at Ascot Stadium, Dynamos ran rampant over Kwekwe United, winning 3-0, their biggest victory ever this season. In fact, they've never scored over 1 goal in any of their fixtures. So a great result for Dynamos. Larry, the question everyone is asking, yes, 4 wins off the bat, even if you include the Chibuku fixtures, 4 wins off the bat. Can they survive? There's still a bit of a gap into 14th place, but can they survive?
Well, they're being coached by a pastor, and he's sticking to his Bible. He's saying that faith moves mountains, but it's going to be a very big challenge. Dynamos need a quasi-magical turnaround to survive relegation. But of course, they ought to be oozing with confidence after getting 4 games on the trot, including 1 in the cup, 2 in the cup. But whether or not they survive relegation, mathematically, it's going to be very, very difficult.
Those maths are not good, Sips, if you take a look at it. As much as the fans are bullish, saying that we're winning games, but the teams above them are going to win games or draw games as well. So looking at their bad goal difference, it's about 6 points they need to make up on their opponents. So, you know, of those teams like Chicken Inn, Manica Diamonds, who are struggling, maybe some of those teams might get, let's say, 2 wins and 2 draws and lose 5. That'll give them, say, 8 points. So to overhaul them, Dynamos have got to win, let's say, 4 games draw 3 and lose only 2. And they've still got to play Scotland the weekend after next as well. So there is not much room for manoeuvre for Dynamos. As much as they're playing really well now, they can't afford to lose more than a couple of games. It's quite complicated if you look at the mathematics, but that, in brief, is what it means for them. Quiet, you're a Dynamos fan. How are you feeling?
Yeah, we are feeling positive. I think we managed to beat Simba and Moz, so we can as well beat Scotland. I'm very positive. I'm very confident we'll survive. But maybe it's an emotional submission.
Well, there's still so much, 9 games left in the PSL. Lots to play for. Steve, you were keeping tabs on the Caps Yade game. Ian Bakala not very happy, pinned the loss to injuries, but we've seen they've slowly fallen out of form. They had a static win over Scotland number of match days ago, but since then it's just been a slow and painful decrease in their performance. Yeah, and first of all, when we talk Caps, we say get well soon to Alice Bunjira, the Caps United legend and former Warriors forward, who was involved in that head-on road accident near Rusape on Saturday. He was admitted to hospital, but he went to hospital for treatment, but was not admitted, so he's recovering well. We say get well soon, speedy recovery to Alois. Condolences to families of those who lost 2 loved ones in that car accident as well. So as a result, Junior Bunjira was on the bench, Alois's son. He did come on. He was brave enough to play in the second half and even have the assist actually for what was the goal of the week, although it came too late for Caps, chested by Bunjira into the path of the Congo-Brazzaville player, Love Bisialo, who had a superb first-time volley, but it was too late for them. But for me, there's too much tinkering going on with the team. Nyasha Chintuli was left on the bench and brought on. There were, I think it was 3 substitutions at the start of the second half. Tanaka Shandirwa among players who were injured. So there was an injury list for Bakala to deal with. But I don't still think he knows what his first 11 is for me, Larry, because every week we're seeing changes in the Caps starting lineup.
Indeed, like you rightly put, a lot of tinkering with the team. Even the goalkeeper as well was changed yesterday. Kwaku usually their first choice, but Hamon Nari got the nod yesterday. Ishmael Wadi as well. One of their mid-season signing was on the bench. So too many experiments, if you ask me, from a Caps United perspective. Disappointing result. Their body language doesn't actually tell of a team that is wanting to fight. They're just content with where they are and what has been the case fighting relegation season in, season out. So, yeah, very disappointing result for Caps, if you ask me.
Yeah, so it looks a bit more like a project than something that's going to give immediate results. But now the fight is on against relegation because all of a sudden they're only just above the drop zone.
Yeah, they're right there. But I think, Nyasha Chintuli being left on the bench, maybe it was to rest him, but he's definitely their star player. He brings that spark into the Caps United player, the Caps United side. Maybe, I think in my opinion as well, contender for Player of the Month, Nyasha Chintuli provided that spark for Caps. So should he be on the starting lineup if Caps want to survive this relegation battle, Larry?
Yeah, like you rightly said, he has been one of their best players offensively going forward. They haven't scored much in the last 3 games, so it's actually a strange decision to actually leave him on the bench. The same way it is strange as well for Ishmael Wadi, very pace going forward. So, like Steve said, a lot of tinkering with the team. It appears as though the coach doesn't actually know his best team, that is. So that will be their biggest letdown as far as their fight for the relegation survival is concerned.
Well, interesting weekend in the PSL, very much. Manika Dimes and Chicken Inn went head-to-head, a 0-0 draw there, and Herentals continue their business, a 1-0 win over Greenfield, which actually puts them into 4th on the PSL log table. And that pretty much rounds up the PSL weekend, Matchday 25, and so we're going to bring on our Fanzone Team of the Week for Matchday 25. Remember, just to preface, as I've done before, we can't get around to every match, but we do our best to try and get a team out there, and also it's just our opinion. Continue to challenge it, have fun with it, suggest other players, maybe draw up your own Team of the Week, and we can always have a really fun discussion. And with that being said, Steve, take us through the Fanzone Team of the Week for Matchday 25.
Yeah, so these are our 11, and you're always free to agree or disagree. Post your comment if you think we got something wrong. Agree with us if you do as well. Hey, what a game at Barberfield. So we give Chris Mverechena, our goalkeeper of the week, saving the penalty for Tel 1 against Highlanders. Arios Savanda, the bosso, captain and keeper, taking it. He's so efficient with the penalties, but this time Mverechena saved it. There's a mini crisis at Highlanders as well, because Kenneth Mutlope, the chairman, he survived a vote of no confidence at the Highlanders meeting on Sunday, as the issue wasn't raised despite protests from angry Highlanders fans on the way that the club is going. Our defenders, no more Tsabora for Simbabora, was great in defence at Ngoni. Terence Daka for Yada in that victory over Caps, very much involved in the thick of things, set pieces, and he's a continual presence for Yada. Webster Tafa for Simbabora also played really well in defence, shutting Moors down. In midfield, Frederick Ansabochwe for Scotland in Friday's victory. Really good, especially in the first half as the defensive midfielder for Scotland. Innocent Mucheneka of Yada. This one you may or may not agree. He scored from a free kick. Harmony Nari perhaps was at fault, the Caps United goalkeeper, but there was a lot of swerve on the free kick from Mucheneka, and Nari could not get there. So the veteran with a decent free kick there. Boubacar Moffat, as Larry says, he's impressing every week since joining Moors. He had a really good game in midfield. Triangle, another victory for them. Munashe Bamara is the man in midfield. He's a real fan favourite. Diminutive midfielder, winning lots of challenges, and an assist in their 2-0 victory. So Bamara definitely deserves a mention there. Timon Machope, another brace for him, as consecutive braces for Machope. He's getting in the right places, and his finishing is certainly clinical. We were impressed with him. Washington Avaya for Tel 1, also in our lineup for the week, getting another goal up front. And Jairos Kasondo for Dynamos, one of the scorers in the 3-0 win over Kwekwe United. His goal was a tap-in, but in general, he was really good up front for Dynamos, and he could be the kind of player who might help them to escape relegation. So that's our team of the week. That's what we think from what we saw. You're very free to agree or disagree.
Yeah. You could have also I would have been very happy with Tapuya Mangenje. Yes, he came off the bench, but that crucial tap in, it's exactly what you want from a player. Coming in 93rd minute, get that goal winner. So yeah, rounds up the Fanzone Team of the Week. And also the PSL fixtures side of the Matchday Roundup. We're now going to head to Division 1, what's been happening there, the fixtures. And, it's obviously important to keep up with Division 1, with relegations, teams going into Division 1, and also promotions as well. So, Steve, over to you in the Division 1 Roundup.
Yeah, and a lot's happening in Division 1, as always. Northern Region, no change in the top three after a series of draws. The leaders at Mombe Yewara were held to a 2-2 draw by Harare City in the headline match of the weekend. Second place, Agama drew 1-1 against Black Mambas. Third place, Golden Eagles 1-1 against Cranbourne Bullets. In the Southern Region, the Bulawayo Chiefs moved top ahead of Nkai United. That's on goal difference. They drew 0-0 away to Black Rock. And Kai, though, can go back to the top should they win or draw their game in hand, which is away to Mainline in Plumtree. Third place, Wange gained some ground. They moved 4 points behind the leaders with a 1-0 win away to Imbizo. Former PSL side Masvingo United in the Eastern Region moved within 3 points of the leaders Hunters FC. They won 1-0 away to Buffaloes. Hunters dropped points in a goalless draw against Chivu Stars. Tenax in third are set to return to action this week after national duty at the SADC Prisons and Correctional Services Games in Namibia, so they have games in hand to Tenax. Sadly, the Central Region is the second region this year to lose a team due to financial challenges after the Eastern Region had lost J.M. Busher during the first half of the season, and now it's Bishopstone from Beitbridge who have folded, sadly. They pulled out of the Central Region due to financial challenges. Log leader Shesham on a bye after the collapse of Bishopstone. Hard Rock in second overcame last season's runners-up Kwekwe Tongogara 2-0 in a Kwekwe derby. They're 3 points behind Shesham, and Hard Rock coach Calvin Maposa believes they have what it takes to wrestle the title from Shesham. So that's what's happening in Division 1, and very sad to hear of the folding of Bishopstone, Larry.
Very, very, very sad indeed. It's not good for the game. It's not good for the fans. Like you rightly said, Steve, this is the second time that has happened. We just hope for the best in that context because we cannot afford to keep on losing teams.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate scenario to be in. Maybe why is it that these Division 1 teams are pulling out, do you think, Larry? Is it maybe because of from the corporate world, Division 1 is not as marketable and not as profitable as the PSL? Why do you think these teams are pulling out?
Yeah, it's a case of financial struggles on account of the game itself not being profitable that much. Honestly speaking, even the PSL is not that profitable, Steve? So football clubs, especially in the lower tiers of Zimbabwean football, simply need to navigate their way by finding other means of sourcing income because clearly the game itself is not as profitable as they would want.
If you're a single owner club, you're vulnerable. That was the case with Bishopstone.
Yeah, we also know Kwekwe must have their fair trouble of financial support. But speaking of Hard Rock FC, we had a correspondent from Fanzone who was at the Hard Rock game, and we spoke to the head coach, Kelvin Maposa. So let's have a listen to what he had to say after his match.
Let me say that was a crucial game. Playing the perennial campaigners, Tongogara. They're a good team, and we've managed to do it very well. Why? Because we've managed to collect 3 points. And I would say that's a job well done to the team.
So that was Calvin Maposa, the head coach of Hard Rock FC, who funnily enough was actually also the head coach of Tongogara last year, and he's very positive and happy, and he thinks that he can wrestle the title from the log leaders, Shesham FC. Well, that rounds up the PSL Matchday 25 and Division 1. Let's take a look at what's coming up over the weekend in Matchday 26. Matchday 26 coming up this weekend. It promises a very exciting fixture, which we have deemed maybe the match of the week. And it's the informed Giants, Horrentals, unbeaten in 5 matches, 4 wins and 1 draw up against Scotland, who have got 5 straight W's on the trot. Larry, it's going to be an exciting one. What do you think is going to happen this match?
Well, it's going to be an interesting game, like you rightly said. Being at Rufaro, Scotland in great form, a lot of wins on the trot. But the Rentals can pull a surprise as well. They won a very, very big game against Greenfield, at the Greenfield Arena in Chisumba, a very difficult venue, Steve. And their coach was actually confident that they can actually get a positive result against Scotland. So yeah, it's gonna be a very, very interesting game.
11 wins and 8 draws for the students, and we can't underrate them. This will be their best finish by far if they manage to stay in 4th. But I think they just continue to surprise week after week this season.
Yeah, well, I think with the team that Scotland have, Machope, Billiard, Musona, they're all going to be targeting IB9. I think their age as well, they're going to play into that. He's very good with the ball, but I think run him, tire him out very quickly. Yeah. I think you'll probably look to try and poke a hole through there. Larry, your predictions for this match?
Well, I predict that Innocent Benza won't play. He didn't play against Moz. It was a very, very tense game. But ultimately, I expect Scotland to win that game.
Scotland. Yeah. And the scoreline?
Maybe 2-0.
2-0. Oh,
yeah.
Confident.
I'll go 3-1, waiting for Knowledge Musona to have his first start. He hasn't started yet for Scotland, and we did have Rentals on the show a few weeks ago. You can watch that episode if you missed it, explaining about Innocent Benza IB9, saying they think he adds a lot to the team. I'm with Larry. I would not risk the 54-year-old in a game like this. Imagine if Knowledge Musona starts as the former Warriors captain. I think he'd be out of his depth there. But I'll say 3-1 to Scotland. I think they'd be too good. And the run they're on, they should be able to continue it.
Really? So you think the goals are going to come pouring down? Yeah, I think I'm also in favour of Scotland. It seems to be the trend 1-0. And to be a bit more specific, I think it'll be Shidolo who puts it into the back net for Scotland. But the next game I want to look at is FC Platinum, and they're taking on Cap. So both teams on not the best run of performance. I think we're in for a draw here. What are your thoughts, Steve?
Yeah, it's one of those glamorous fixtures, usually provides entertainment, but they're not going into this looking good at either of them. For FC Platinum, no sooner did they come to challenge than they've dropped away. I don't think they can get back now into the title race, but plenty of pride to play for still, and might even be saying they're starting to look towards next season, because I think the gap is too big now at 10 points. But Caps are going to be hungry for points now. They can't afford slip-ups. So, I think there should be a couple of goals in that one as well. I'd say 1-1.
And you, Larry?
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting game. Like Steve rightly said, both teams coming off defeats, hey? FC Platinum, if they don't win that game, certainly and firmly they are out of the title race, despite the fact that they've got a game in hand against Manica Diamonds. Caps need to return to winning ways as well. Things have not been well for them. I would actually predict a draw for that game. I would say 2-2.
2-2. I think the goals might be less freaking. I think middle case scenario, a draw, but best case scenario, it'll be a win for Caps United. But that's the match day 26 coming up this weekend. Don't forget the PSL Predictor is live already if you're feeling bold and want to place your predictions. But don't forget it is getting hot at the top of the table there. And we're going to go into our Predictor segment. We'll be joined by a special guest. So let's head on over to Predictor. Right, the Moors PSL Predictor happened over the weekend, as it normally does. And on our set, you can see there's something different. There's a beautiful TV out in the front and a special guest with us. But a little bit later on that. But first, the leaderboard. Icon 505 firmly stretches out his lead. 15 points between himself and William McKenna, who's in second place, coming up from fourth. And our usual 1-2 is not there. Our number 2, Simba, has dropped all the way into 6th. So lots going on in the top 10 in the leaderboard predictor. Steve, it was a hard weekend of predicting.
Yes, it was. It was tough, wasn't it? I thought that Caps are going to win and Highlanders as well. So that just messed up my week. It's just back-to-back tough weeks for me now. But we move. We keep going.
We move. We keep going indeed. And more on the TV. So this TV here, this JVC 40-inch screen here, it was one of our sweepstake prizes. We said if you've been doing your sweepstakes, you can be eligible to win one of these. And our winner here is a Nashi ZW, all the way in position 947, and he still managed to win a TV. So Nashi, I'm sure you are very happy with this TV.
Yes, I'm very happy. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, sure, no worries. What's your experience been like in the Predictor? Have you enjoyed it? Has it been fun? Did you also have a hard weekend this last Predictor?
Yeah, firstly, I'd like to say that I joined the Predictor in match day 14. And by then, the number one was at around 400 and something points. So my aim was to finish in the top 100. But then I got a surprise and I got a call that I had won a TV. And yeah, it has been exciting and I'm very happy.
Which team do you support, Nash?
I support Dynamos, but you know what it is with Dynamos these days. So yeah, I'm a Dynamos fan and we just hope for the best.
What's your strategy? Do you always predict Dynamos win because you're a supporter?
No, I just look at the stats, then I will just find a way to make sure that I put in the results that are in line with the current form of the team that I'm going to be putting my weight for.
Look at the stats and the form, not just following your favourite team. That's a good tip there, Sitz.
Yeah, there's lots of thinking and critical analysis that goes into these predictors that I've had to learn over the past couple of weeks. So Nashi, before we give you your TV, what are some encouraging words for other predictors out there, and maybe to entice other people to join the Moors PSL Predictor?
Well, from my experience, I can say that everyone stands a chance to win, because these winners are selected by AI. So everyone is equal possibility to win. So if you still have a chance, you can join, and yeah, we just hope for the best. Then yeah, that's it.
Well, there's so many sweepstake prizes still out there. Shirts, bucket hats, caps, power banks, speakers, more TVs. So don't feel jealous, but you do have to be predicting. So head on over to fanzone.co.zw, sign yourself up, and get predicting to enjoy something. There's also a car, a Suzuki Eco, which is still up for grabs in the sweepstakes. So let's present this TV now to Ashley. Lovely 40-inch. Wow. So first of all, it's a nice little handshake there. And wow, take it that. If you're feeling jealous, now's the time to join the Fanzone Predictor. Beyond the pitch, this is the segment where we take a break from the PSL and the football, and we look to what else is happening in other Zimbabwean sporting activities. And our guest for today is Quiet Shangai. Quiet, thank you for coming onto the set today. Wow, bodybuilding, where we had Tino Ryan Gumbo on the set with us a number of episodes ago. If you haven't watched that one, go and check it out. But just to get straight into the nitty-gritty of bodybuilding, I had a conversation with you a little earlier off set, and you're saying, you know, the bodybuilding hasn't grown as much as we would have liked in the past decade in Zim. Why do you think that is happening at the moment?
Okay, thank you very much, Sips. Yeah, with regards to growth, we are looking at some of the spaces for development which we have not taken advantage of, like the school system, like the college and university systems. So we have not managed to have a sustainable system, for example, to create programs in such areas. We have not been doing Mr. Schools. We have not been having competitions at cities, for example. And this is where development can happen. Yes, we have community where we do shows in districts and townships, but this has not helped us to create the much needed critical mass. So in terms of development, yes, there's development. There are some signs of growth, but we have not managed to be where we want to be because of our absence in those systems, which is the school system and the university and college systems.
Why have you not done Mr. Schools in a bit of time? Is there a particular reason?
Yeah, I think traditionally bodybuilding has been muscles, you know, the big muscles, the open bodybuilding. Yes, it has evolved, and the challenge was that, like in the school system, for example, it's very difficult to have children or students exhibiting that kind of muscularity. But now bodybuilding has evolved. We now have other competitions like men's physique, like fitness challenges. So we hope that with the coming in of such competitions, we can now penetrate the school system. With Zitisu, I think the biggest challenge has always been engaging the universities. But we have started that program where we are now looking at engaging probably 1 or 2 universities, and we start with probably Mr. University of Zimbabwe, for example. Then we penetrate Zitisu or ZUSA or even TESA Games.
And, you know, trying to bring back Mr. Schools will be quite a challenge. You know, schools, you know, bodybuilding is not one of the main sports in Zim. You're going to be competing with kids who might want to play football, rugby, hockey. What's going to be your main selling point when you do try and infiltrate, you know, Mr. University and this Mr. Schools?
Yeah, the beauty with bodybuilding is that one can be a bodybuilder while he's probably playing another sport. If you look at the big boys in bodybuilding, like globally, Sean Ray and them, they used to play American football, and at the same time, they used to do bodybuilding. So it's very possible to go to sports which are more related to bodybuilding, like rugby, for example. Even karate. Yeah, you know, we can have karate athletes doing fitness challenges. So our strategy will be to then let those people know that you can still train to play rugby, but at the same time develop a physique that is competition worthy for bodybuilding.
So how expensive would you say bodybuilding is, especially if you're talking at school? You need good diet, you need supplements. How accessible is it to get that budget to become a bodybuilder?
To become a bodybuilder. Okay, thank you very much for that question. Yeah, if you look at the science behind it, when one is young, let's say below 20, the receptors are so good. Yeah, you don't need probably excessive supplementation. Maybe with just basic good food, or you get your macronutrients right, you can as well become a bodybuilder because your receptors are very good at that age. So it's not a big deal with regards to supplementation when you're looking at the school system. Furthermore, the other competitions that are now there in global federations like your men's physique, men's fitness, you don't need to have the degree of muscularity should not be at the higher end. So we can as well create such competitions so that we create that awareness and we create a culture of people now understanding that there is bodybuilding. And then they can develop from such divisions. For example, a men's physique athlete, you can be, it's like your Cristiano Ronaldo.
Huh.
Yeah. But then if you capture a schoolboy who is like Cristiano Ronaldo, and then you persuade him to take bodybuilding as a sport, as he grows older, he can now probably go into the more muscular divisions as he now maybe have that capacity to raise resources.
So for a teenager, you don't necessarily need the supplements. A good diet can give you the physique that you need.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And your bodybuilding and fitness in the federation, how do you distinguish the two as the national federation?
Or bodybuilding and fitness. Yeah. So bodybuilding is open bodybuilding. You know your Schwarzeneggers, where we are looking at a degree of muscularity that is on the high end, and then we have other categories where people exhibit their ability to showcase fitness. For example, men's fitness. For example, women's fitness. For example, fitness challenges. So this is where we are saying one should now be able to do certain moves that exhibit fitness. So this is where the fitness is coming in. But traditionally it was only open bodybuilding, but it has evolved.
And again, also on the topic of growth and development, around the world, women's fitness and bodybuilding is becoming a lot more attractive. Are we seeing a similar trend in Zim, or are women a lot more slower to engage in fitness and bodybuilding?
Yeah. There are two spaces to talk about. There are people that are just training to look good, and women are taking fitness very seriously in that regard. But then there is competitive bodybuilding and fitness where people that now they come in and compete. I believe that it's a very we have an opportunity as an industry just to go out there and let people understand that bodybuilding and fitness is no longer about the high degree of muscularity. So there are competitions that are available for someone who does aerobics, for example, that women can go and compete in women bikini or women wellness. So there is an opportunity. Why I say so? Because already women are doing bodybuilding and fitness. They're training. You go to Body Active, you go to Pro Fitness, you see a lot of women training. But what we just need to do is just to let them understand that there is a space for them to compete.
Yeah. And there often still is that stigma that you pick up one dumbbell and all of a sudden you're gonna grow into like an Arnold Schwarzenegger. So I think that obviously is being worked on. But you also have a couple of competitions coming up. Tell us about the main one in November.
Yeah, we are going to have the Nationals in Victoria Falls. I think for the first time in almost a quarter of a century, we are going to have a competition out of Harare. The reason why we are having this competition in Mart North is we want our stakeholders to appreciate that Harare is not Zimbabwe. I think that is the challenge that we have been facing as a bodybuilding and fitness federation, where everyone thinks the nationals should be in Harare, Ironman should be in Harare, then you have a big provincial show in Harare, then we have a sanctioned show in Harare, then we have all the other affiliates doing shows in Harare. And this is probably creating a situation where we can't then motivate people to take bodybuilding as a sport. You go to Mart North, like Wange, for example, there are people that trains there. There are people that obviously goes to the gym. There are people that are obviously motivated by Ron Coleman and them, but they don't have opportunity to come and compete, probably because they think it's a rare thing. So we want to spread bodybuilding to other places. This is the reason why we have chosen one of the least expected places, which is Mart North.
And obviously there with a lot of athletes that will be based in Harare. So there's going to be a bit of a, not dilemma, but it will be quite hard to get athletes to Vic Falls. Is there a plan there?
Yeah, there's a plan. What we have done as a federation, we have made sure that, number one, athletes are going to do what we will, for the want of English, what we are going to call pre-registration. That is online. Then we get an idea of the numbers. And then we're going to organize transport, which are leisure buses, to carry athletes from Harare to Victoria Falls. So they will sleep in Bulawayo, then they will proceed to Victoria Falls, and then sleep in Victoria Falls for 2 days just to get some rest times. Because with bodybuilding, you need to rest after traveling so that you don't retain a lot of water on stage. So that is the idea that we have, and we already have a budget, and it has been approved by our main sponsor, which is we has agreed to ensure that we have critical mass in Victoria Falls.
Okay. And this year, it's Vic Falls. Are you moving to a different location next year? Are there plans to move it all around Zimbabwe, the Harare Classic, Men's Classic?
Yeah, we hope next year we to go to Midlands, so that we spread the sport of bodybuilding to all corners of Zimbabwe.
So you need to rest before a competition. So you've got to be careful with your body if you're a bodybuilder, and with all the issues of drugs and substance abuse with young people, I guess there must be a lot of benefits that bodybuilding offers, because you need to be clean if you're going to be a good bodybuilder, I presume.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, with you would see that if you want to sustainable bodybuilding, you have to be very careful with regards to doping. If you find yourself abusing drugs, you are likely to compete for a very short time. You are likely to end your life very soon, and it doesn't speak to the ethos, values, and principles of fitness, because at the end of the day, fitness speaks to a body that is functionally able to do other things. So you see, with drugs, one will probably carry a body that he cannot use for other purposes. Breathing will be difficult, and a lot of other things. So we have always tried as much as we can to ensure that we discourage doping. Our federation that we are affiliated to is WADA, and with SRC, WADA is a very serious issue, and they always come to our shows. And secondly, if we just feel that your physique appears to have gone through a lot of drug abuse, it's very easy. Like you look at Kaino and other things, we punish you, we disqualify if it is possible to do that. So that at the end of the day, we discourage the use of drugs, because it doesn't speak to the objectives of fitness.
All right, so a healthy lifestyle. And when we look in the region, when we go for international competitions, how would you rate Zimbabwe?
Yeah, so far we have been doing very well. If you see our performance at Arnold Classics, for example, which is an IFBB show that is ready international.
That's our big one that a lot of our
that is the biggest show that we have been having in Africa. We have Precious Mjuri and Ellen Costa. They have won that show. Even Regina Jonga and Masimba Nyamajiwa. We have Simbara Shemaka, who has won the World Championships at some stage. Even Regina Jonga, and I think in 2015 we had Sportsperson of the Year was from bodybuilding, and 2017 Sportswoman of the Year was from bodybuilding, and 2019 we had again Sportswoman of the Year coming from bodybuilding. So, and you know the ratings, you're part of that process. Yeah, winning an international show gives creates a better chance for an athlete to win that kind of an award. So we are doing very well in that regard.
Yeah, Regina Jonga did great things. Yeah. Well, so lots happening there, Sips.
Yeah, lots happening. But I can see you through the suit, quite definitely a sturdy, well-strengthened man. Have you yourself spent some time bodybuilding?
Yeah. I've been doing bodybuilding, I think, since 1997.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've also done competitions. I think I last competed in 2010. Then went into administration, went into officiating. It's with bodybuilding, it's a lifetime thing. Yeah, competitive bodybuilding is something that you can then say, I've decided to hang my trunks. But with regards to training, it's something that you can do for the rest of your life.
And what was your biggest achievement for yourself in your career of competitive bodybuilding?
As an athlete, I was unfortunate to compete with the great Gimo Marume, but I think personally I have managed to create a physique that has given myself confidence, and I can safely say I've never slept in a hospital, and I think thanks to the teachings that we got from Innocent Choga and them, which gives us that understanding of that you can train as well as being fit and healthy.
Wow, great benefits.
Great benefits. So yeah, healthy living and strong diet and bodybuilding is what we are doing this year. Maybe, hopefully, we'll be getting bodybuilding back into universities, back into schools to get that growth and development. So thank you, Quiet, for your interview. It was really insightful.
Thank you so much, Simpson.
In other sporting activities in Zimbabwe, we hosted the Davis Cup at Harare Sports Club, and unfortunately, disappointing results all around, Steve. 3-0 losses in all our 3 games, and it means we actually get relegated into Group 4. So not the best results.
Yeah, well, it's the lowest ever in Davis Cup tennis for Zimbabwe. It is so disappointing. Quarter of a century ago, we had the likes of Andre Agassi, the American tennis legend, here in Harare for Davis Cup World Group action, and now we're so far away. I doubt if we'll ever get back to there, or not for a very, very long time. And we were hosting the Africa Group 3. I was sure that we would breeze through there and get promotion with home advantage, but we were seriously exposed. We lost every single tie, all 4 of them each day. We lost every single match as well, and in straight sets too. And it just shows that we have a lack of depth in tennis. It's really, really disappointing. There was hardly anybody there watching the games as well. The drums were not beating for the guys, unlike in years gone by. And there's a crisis in tennis. Walter Gera, the TZ president, he was suspended by the SRC a couple of months ago. And now to rebuild, it's going to take something. So we go down into Group 4, which didn't exist until 2019, but now we're going down that far. Senegal won this tournament. I mean, you just can't imagine that we couldn't finish ahead of them. Algeria were there as well, Namibia. It is just so painful for sports fans, for tennis fans, that we have slipped this low, and it's a serious crisis, Sips.
Yeah, serious crisis. So Group 4 means that we'll be participating in Botswana next year. So hopefully we can rebuild from there, but lots of work to do. We also were able to get an interview with one of the Senegalese players, and they won the tournament, so they promoted to Group 2. So let's have a listen to what he had to say.
It's an amazing feeling. The team was really happy yesterday because we knew yesterday night that we were qualified already. So everyone is really happy, and that's the best feeling.
We also hosted the Motocross of African Nations at Donnybrook over the weekend. If you are unfamiliar, we had Jamie Kerwin, who is the president of the Motocross Union in Zimbabwe. She was on the show, and she was saying she was preparing for this event. It was very stressful. She had to pull in sponsors since I think Kenya pulled out last minute. So they came over to Zimbabwe, and our Zimbabweans did very well, coming second overall, just behind South Africa. And third was Uganda. You wouldn't believe it. So motocross is up and coming in Zim, and not a bad result at all.
Yeah, when South Africa come, you know they're going to come in any sport with a seriously strong team. So finishing second to them, it's good going. But more than that, I knew that we would host this well and put on a good show, which we did.
And if you weren't tired of our clips, we do have another one for you. We spoke to Ingo Walschmidt, who is the captain of the Namibian team of the motocross. So let's hear what he has to say.
Yeah, it's first time here. We've never been here before. We've got 14 riders from 50s all the way up to the Open, the MX2, MX1. So yeah, we're happy being here. Like I said, first time. It's amazing. Nice to see a different track for a change than Namibia. Well, we're fairly big in Namibia as well. We've got about 50 to 60 riders on a good day. And yeah, we've also got all the different classes like they do have here, and some of our top riders take part more in South Africa. It's closer for us to travel, and yeah, we've we're looking forward to, like I said, different tracks. We've got only 3 tracks in the whole of Namibia to ride on, and to be honest, this track suits us well because it's very similar to the one we ride on. So we'll have to see today how we do.
Well, that was Ingo and his thoughts on motocross in Namibia, how it's growing and how they're learning from South Africa as well. And definitely quite a number of Namibians over the week in Zim with the Davis Cup as well. And even Uganda bringing 32 riders. So a growing sport and well-financed in Uganda as well. We now move to rugby, where the Paramount Harare Garment League, it's the finals week. It is OH versus Harare Sports Club, a final which is very familiar to everyone who watches rugby. And in the women's section, it is Zimbabwe Titans versus FS Raiders. Again, another final which is very familiar. Steve, with the OH versus Sports Club, you know, both sides have the most sables in it, so it makes sense that they are the finalists. But normally OH does tend to pip Sports Club.
Yeah, Harare Sports Club, the bigger winners in the semis, beating OGs comprehensively. So I think this is going to be an exciting one this coming weekend. It could be, well, it's really difficult to call there, but the way that they won that semi, I think they're going to consider themselves favourites.
Yeah, well, that's the finals this week in the Harare Paramount Garment League. We now move on to Rumours and Rubbish, where we will be discussing FC Platinum and whether or not the alleged match fixing has affected the team. Trouble with FC Platinum in their camp after an alleged match fixing allegation. David Bizabani, the keeper from FC Platinum, after their 5-2 loss against Scotland, things have gone downhill. 3 losses in a row for FC Platinum. So much happening. Larry, fill us in more. What are the discussions that are being had at FC Platinum?
Well, a lot of strange things have happened at FC Platinum since their loss to Scotland. They were threatening to go all the way to the end of the season without tasting defeat, only for them to be demolished by Scotland. Following which, there were reports that their goalkeeper David Bizabani had been suspended. FC Platinum kept a very tight lead on the issue. They never confirmed that they suspended the goalkeeper, but Bizabani has not been in the matchday squad for the last 3 games, fueling speculation that he might have been suspended, and he did. But interestingly, like you rightly said, since that, they've lost 3 consecutive games. They've lost 3 consecutive games. And strangely as well, FC Platinum have not had their routine weekly press conferences during which Norman plays the previous games each and every Thursday. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's the Brian Banda effect, losing their star midfielder in that road accident, and maybe that's the factor and not this. But yeah, that's the rumours, and the results certainly do raise eyebrows, don't they?
Yeah. Do you think Norman Mapeza is avoiding conversations? Why would you suspect that FC Platinum aren't having those press conferences? I mean, we can only assume and guess and have our own opinions, but what would you think, Larry?
Look, it's a very, very uncomfortable situation in which uncomfortable conversations will take place. So the club is obviously, perhaps we can only speculate, we cannot attribute certainty as to why they are not holding those routine press conferences. But yeah, strange times indeed in Shawan.
Yeah, just a reminder, these are our own opinions. Don't take us too seriously. What we see and hear in the football streets and Zimbabwean sporting activities. So just have to have a little bit of fun with it. But also our Davis Cup. Now, this is going to go into our rubbish section, Steve. As we touched on earlier, our biggest defeat, relegation to Group 4, 3 straight sets without a loss, without winning. It's just shambles in Zimbabwean tennis.
Yeah, this is firmly in the rubbish category. We as Zimbabwe should not be getting relegated to Africa's own Group 4 in Davis Cup. It's a leadership crisis. More than that, it's a talent crisis as well. We don't have the depth. We don't seem to be identifying young players. The process of grooming them and getting into Davis Cup, like Ronam TC, it's his 2nd year in Davis Cup, but he was completely exposed. It is a big issue, this one. and we should never find ourselves in a position like this. And for the leadership issue, I think now it's a massive overhaul that's needed at Tennis Zimbabwe. There's been a lack of transparency, accountability, and it's really sad to see us going down this low.
Yeah, I think we also should have expected a better performance from Courtney. Yes, Ben wasn't playing, but surely Courtney Locke is maybe the figurehead of that Zimbabwean tennis side. We should have seen him at least win one match, no, Steve?
Yeah. I mean, you can say he's a doubles player, but at this level he can win singles matches. He has done at the All Africa Games. He's capable. Didn't even play in the final tie on Saturday against Algeria. I really would have thought that he's capable of winning 2 matches a day, a singles and a doubles. Benji Locke was injured apparently and missed it. That brings us into rumour as well. Was he really injured? We're not sure, because he was injured in the previous tie against Morocco earlier this year as well.
Well, I was at Harare Sports Club, and after the event had concluded, I could see the Zimbabwean team all huddled in the players' lounge, and there were definitely some disgruntled faces. A tough conversation was being had amongst the players and the coach. But that brings us to the end of our Fanzone episode. Once again, familiar face Lawrence Mangenje, thank you so much for sitting in the Fanzone with us. And for you, quiet Shangai, we know you've got so much work to do in the bodybuilding. I hope the trip to Vic Falls goes smoothly. And wishing you all the best.
Thank you.
So that's us from Fanzone. If you like this content, remember to subscribe on our YouTube page. Turn on the notification bell so you are alerted every time we upload a video. If you saw the TV, rewind. Nashi ZW in position, was 947. Hopefully he's gone up by since then. He won a TV. If you're feeling jealous, there's still power banks to come, shirts, bucket hats, caps, a car, Suzuki Eco to be specific. That's all up for grabs in the sweepstakes. So head on over to fanzone.co.zw, sign yourself up there, follow us on social media, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.